Safe area entered.
Welcome everybody to Division 2. This is Doc Holiday 24, bringing you a marksman weapon damage, headshot damage build.
Character.
So for starters, you're going to have to find this very rare piece to make all this work. This is the actual piece that's going to pull it all together. It's a Sokolov Concern mask. I have 42% damage to elites on there. Really what you're looking for is a red, 2 yellows, and spotter. The other 2 yellows are not really going to matter as far as the build goes. For the chest, I have a 511 tactical chest, a red and 2 yellows. I rolled the 15% weapon damage on there versus the 8.5 headshot. The reason why I did that is because the weapon damage was sitting around maybe 5 or 6%. So stacking more weapon damage there was actually critical. So what you're looking for with the 511 tactical chest is 2 reds, a yellow. Preferably you want hard hitting there. Then you also have the 2 red mod slots. You got 5.5 marksman rifle damage there on one, and you have 6.5 on the other one. And for the holster, you're going to want an Araldi holster with the yellow. It doesn't really matter which one. If you want to give yourself like a nicer heal, you can go that route, go with skill power. I rolled precise on here. I tested it a few ways with hard hitting on it. I was doing less, so I just went with precise so that I can get the headshot damage more in line with the weapon damage, because typically what it does, if you have too much weapon damage and not enough headshot damage, it just diminishes. Also, I went with the Wyvern knee pads with the yellow. I have skill power. I rolled the skill power on there. I really didn't have anything else I needed to roll on there, so that's got me some more skill power so I can get a better heal. So what you're looking for there is a yellow, hard hitting, and it has a red mod slot. That's pretty much why I went with those knee pads. And I get the 7% critical hit damage, but that's not really important. I got 6 marksman rifle damage for the mod. Here we have the gloves with 12%. They're all the holdings with 12% marksman rifle damage, and Wicked. Where Wicked's going to come into play is for Boomer, Weasel. You could even status effect Buddy and Lucy in the raid. With everything procced, you can hit around 19.5 to 20.5. It just depends on how much you have working. You gotta have the person on the gunner at the Boomer fight. If he's running opportunistic, you'll gain the extra 10% damage from there. Then you get the aces and eights, of course, which gives you 100% weapon damage. Then you have your tip of the spear, which is going to give you another 20% to pulse targets. And it's all just stacking damage with this build. This is how you're going to hit your big numbers. And the backpack is an Araldi Holdings backpack with a red, a yellow, hard hitting on the ropes, and a yellow mod slot. Typically for the mod slot, you can put whatever you want there. You can put something in there. It's going to give you a better heal, or a better sort of like help you with the cooldown or with your pulse, so you can keep it up more. And let's take a look at the stats. Stats you have here is this is the Nemesis stats basically, because that's pretty much all I use on this one. majority of the time. If I get into trouble, I pull out my SVD. I'll show you that here in a second. So it's 582.9 weapon damage on the Nemesis, 215% headshot damage. Your critical hit chance and damage are not really important when you're stacking headshot damage and weapon damage. And I have 30% all weapon damage bonus, 55% marksman rifle damage bonus, and 77% damage to elites. Now if I was to find the actual chest piece that I need, the 2 reds, a yellow, and hard hitting, I could raise that up to 87%, which would be much better. But I have not found that yet. I've been searching for about 4 weeks. So typically I'm going Nemesis, just because that's going to do your biggest damage to the bosses in the raid. And I typically use this one all the time. I usually set on number 2 ads at Razorback, and I do just fine with it. It takes a certain kind of player to just use the Nemesis all the time though, so I would actually recommend using the Surplus SVD. Mine's hitting for about 92.6. I have Killer on mine, but I mean, you could run it many different ways. You can put Ranger on there, you could put Lucky Shot. I do like the 15% weapon handling. You can go a lot of different ways with the SVD. It's really just your backup for when you need it. It's typically whatever the player likes.